Okay, it's time for your homework assignment. I want you to make the quality of these similarities even better, and it's purely a subjective thing. Really, the objective here is just to get you to roll up your sleeves, dive in, and start messing with this code to make sure that you understand it, and you can modify it and get some tangible results out of your changes. So let me give you some pointers and some tips on what you might want to try here, and we'll set you loose. Alright, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to dive into this code and try to make it better. So we're just using a very naive algorithm here with a cosine similarity metric, and the results, like we saw, weren't that bad, but maybe they could be better. And, you know, there are ways to actually measure the goodness of a recommendation or a similarity, but without getting into that, just dive into there and try some different ideas and see what effect it has, and maybe they qualitatively just look better to you, and at the end of the day, maybe that's all that matters. So some ideas of some simple things to try. Maybe you could just try throwing out any movie that has a bad rating. So, you know, if someone rates something 1 star, is that really useful for your purposes? I mean, maybe strictly speaking, it lets you see that bad movies are similar to each other, but at the end of the day, do you really want to be recommending bad movies to people? I don't think so. So if that's your intended use of this information, try just filtering out the bad ratings and see what that does. You can try different similarity metrics. There are things like the Pearson correlation coefficient or Jaccard coefficient that you could replace our cosine metric with and see what you get. Some of those might be better, might be worse. One way to find out. You can also try adjusting the thresholds for the minimum co-raters or minimum score. Maybe we're just not being picky enough with the final results. And you can try to invent your own similarity metric. One thing, maybe we don't really need that minimum threshold for minimum co-raters. Maybe we can just take that into account as part of the actual similarity itself and automatically account for how much confidence we have in that relationship. Also, there's the u.items folder in the MovieLens dataset that contains things like genre information, so it might be interesting to extract that information and give a boost to movies that are in the same genre. So, for example, similarities to Star Wars that are science fiction, maybe that should count a little bit more, right? So, you know, just dive in there, give it a try, see what you can come up with. Have some fun with it. I mean, it's an interesting problem. It kept me occupied for a few years, so play around with it, get familiar with this script. It's a complicated one, so I want you to dive in there and get familiar with it. All right, go have some fun. All right, good luck. You're off on your own to actually try to improve upon our results for movie similarities. There's no right or wrong answer here. As long as you have results that make sense and your script still works, consider yourself successful. So we're not going to come back and compare your improvements to mine because there's infinite ways to actually approach this problem. There is no right or wrong answer. I just want you to get in there, play around with it, see what you come up with, all right? Get some familiarity with the code, get some more familiarity with Spark in your development environment. That's the real goal here. So have fun and see what you can come up with.